Hey, I got some new adventure motorcycling boots from Forma Boots. I'm going to do an unboxing and an initial review. Welcome to Urban Monk TV. So it's December, the month of my birthday, and my father was so kind to send me some funds for buying whatever I'd like for my birthday, and I thought, I'm going to get some motorcycle boots. So I bought these Forma Adventure motorcycling boots, and as you may have seen in one of my recent videos where I went moto camping in Joshua Tree National Park, I like to ride my motorcycle. I like to be protected. I like to wear all the gear all the time, but I also like to hike when I'm in parks, and walking in motorcycle boots, that's kind of a tricky area. So let's see what we get when we unbox these Forma boots, and I'll do an initial review of my thoughts on these boots and walk in them a little bit. So what these are the Forma brand, obviously. This is a brand out of Italy. It seemed online like the styling was pretty cool. We'll see that soon enough. And they are made in Eastern Europe. I forget which country. I'm guessing Romania, but let's see. Doesn't say. But let's see what's inside the box. My paperwork. Now I went with the low version. They do make one higher, and my thought was that I'm going to be doing some walking, and low might be better. My first overall impression is these are really built well. Good leather. That works easy enough, and adjustable up here. I don't know what size I want to adjust it to yet. Well, if I had to walk somewhere off road or off the pavement, that certainly seems like it would do it. Good protection in the sides of the ankle. Seems to be good protection up here. Obviously it's got the toe for the shift, and I guess somebody's shifting with their right foot still on, I guess, a vintage bike of some kind. So when you go do research on these, you'll find a lot of guys and gals saying go up a size, and you'll find a lot of guys saying, no, I ordered the size my foot is and it was perfect. So I didn't know what to do there based on online information, and buying footwear online is always problematic, especially for me. In my experience, I have a wide foot, and one of my feet is a little bit bigger than the other. Not much, but just enough where I notice it in boots and shoes. So I tend to be the kind of person that always goes and shops for footwear in person at a store. But COVID, so here I bought something online. It did have a 30-day return policy, so I won't mention what seller I got them from, but you can find these from multiple sources, and from what I can see, they're built well. It's heavy enough to where I feel like I got protection, but not so heavy that I'm gonna have a hard time walking in these. Great protection on the side of the foot here. I've already mentioned the sole looks like a guy could walk in it well. I'm impressed. At the top, we've got a, I won't call it Velcro because it's technically hook and loop and we don't know who makes this, but it's heavy duty and it is made in a way where the part that you grab is not the hook, it's the loops. And that's good because if you're handling the hooks part too much, you mash them down and they stop working. So they were smart about that. They didn't put the hook side on the part that you'll handle a lot with your hands. Let me put these on my feet and see what they feel like. One thing I will say right away is I could use a hook back here to grab. There's nothing to like loop your finger into to pull them on. Not bad so far. First impressions is if a guy wanted to tuck your pants inside, you could. I don't know why you would, because everything's going to get down inside the boot then if there's weather. So is there ample room? Seems like that's a pretty good fit right there. Snug enough. Plenty of room for my pants to go around. These are motorcycle pants, you know, with Kevlar in them and armor in the knees. Yeah, I guess that's my first complaint is there's nothing to grab onto back here. But it's a small thing. You can put your foot on the ground and just push it in. Well, I'm a 12 and these are 12s or European 46 and they fit good. I think I could stand in these a little while. For me, the left is a little tighter than the right, but I still feel like there is a reasonable amount of room in there for me. My toe's in a good spot. I've got some room in front of it, and they definitely are stiff in the ankle, but these are brand new out of the box. Clearly there's some break-in required. That's why this is going to be a preliminary video as far as the review part goes. What I want to do is take them for a ride, give you my opinion on that in this video, but then wear them for, I don't know, 6 months, a year maybe, and I'll follow up and do a long-term review on them also. So if you're not subscribed to my channel and you're interested in following along so that I come back to this review and finish up the long-term thoughts on it, click subscribe and you'll get notifications when I put up videos. Plus I've got a lot of other fun content. What can I say? I like the way they look. The style's cool to me. They definitely fit the outdoor adventure kind of aesthetic. They're not motocross boots, and I don't know that I needed high boots since I don't ride motocross. I ride on the street and a little, dirt road riding, campgrounds, moto camping, and I like to go hiking when I moto camp. I think these are going to fit the bill. Let's see. They certainly feel sturdy on my feet, and I feel sure on my feet. Of course, one of the things I want to know right away is it feels thicker here, like I've got to do more of a toe tap to get under than I'm used to. Out of curiosity, here's one of my Keens that I'm fond of wearing, and of course they don't have anything on the top for the gear shift lever, so they've gotten beat up there. And it's about 60, I'll say 62 centimeters or 2.4, they call it 2.5 inches. These guys are, you know, about 3.3 inches or 84 centimeters. So clearly I am going to have some adjustment in the way this feels riding the bike. Let's go for a ride and I'll come back and tell you guys what I think. If you like motorcycles, custom builds, or just like a good story about a man's 3-year effort to build a tribute to his childhood teacher, get a copy of Creating Mr. Corton. In it, you'll learn how this man changed this man for the better. How this man took this and built this. How these guys became lifelong friends and enthusiasts of motorcycling and craftsmanship. And how the name Urban Monk originated. It's available from Amazon anywhere in the world that Amazon ships, in both paperback and ebook, or you can purchase through a link found on urbanmonktv.com. Get your copy of Creating Mr. Corton today. So I stopped here in Laguna Beach to walk in the boots a little bit, and I'm having a hard time avoiding people. I'm really surprised how many people are out at the beach. Granted, the weather is gorgeous here today, and it has been cool. It was like the first warm day in a while, but you know, we are under stay-at-home, I believe it's a mandate, whatever technically that means, unless it's essential business. So technically I suppose I shouldn't be out, but I play it safe. Anyways, I wanted to go walking both, you know, around in the boots in an urban environment, which is probably how these will get used the most. So I'm doing that, and you know, if it were different circumstances, I would be going to a coffee shop or something to that effect, because I think that's 90% of the time how these boots are going to get used. It's 90% of the time how these adventure bikes get used, right? And I also wanted to go down to the beach and do a little off-road, off-pavement walking, but too many people. I can't get near there. In fact, I'm going to turn around here because there's just, I don't know. Obviously, this is not the place to stop. It's a place to keep your helmet on and enjoy the ride. But I did want to walk in them a little bit. What can I say? They're not uncomfortable. They do not have the arch support that my Keen hiking boots have, but you know, who's shopping for adventure motorcycle boots and comparing them to Keens? No one except me, because that's what I wore prior. And Keens are extraordinarily comfortable, but they're not motorcycle boots. They're not protective in the slide that we all hope never comes. And but you want to dress for it, right? So I do feel on the bike more protected with these things on as I'm riding than I do in my Keens. In my Keens, my ankles are exposed when I'm sitting, when my knees are up. My pant hem rises up, and you know, my ankle is exposed, and I'll feel large bugs or small pebbles and stones hit me in the ankle sometimes, you know, and give me a little sting. Not the bugs, the stones. But I'm not feeling that with these boots, not a thing. What I'm also not feeling is my gear, my transmission. I'm not feeling the tactile click of it going into gear, and I'm having to really concentrate much more so than I used to know if I'm in the gear I want or not. Let's step out here and walk around this guy. I guess one last thought here before I hop back on the bike. Better protected for sure. Lacking tactile feel. You know, I wouldn't take these to a track day because I'm definitely slower and more, there's more thought going into each shift because they're bulkier, they're heavier. I really don't feel the bike as much with these, but I definitely feel if I were to go down, my feet are much better protected than they were. And I'm walking in them. It's okay. A couple of Harleys. Granted, these are brand new boots. They're not broken in yet. Maybe the lighting's better if I go like that. So, back on the bike. Well, that was that. Let me get my helmet off and I'll give you some thoughts. Okay, you know, initial thoughts. They're not bad for walking in. I'm not going to want to do 4 miles on a hike in these. So, you know, could I? Yes. You could walk more than 4 miles in them. But I'm not going to want to, because I've owned hiking boots that had, you know, just brilliant arch support, and I'll always be thinking about how nice those would be. But that's me. Giving them a quick once over after a 2-hour initial ride, I'm not seeing any obvious signs of distress where they're hitting parts of the bike and where they may wear out quickly. I don't see any evidence of that. They're really well constructed, and I'm pleased with my purchase so far. Again, this is an initial review. I will mention these in future videos as I go. You know, if I go on another moto camping trip, I'll mention how these are feeling or working out on that particular trip. And as I stated before, I intend to do a long-term review on these, so I will follow up in 6 months or maybe a year after having worn these for quite a while. So keep an eye out for that. Price. They run around $250, and I guess that's what you can expect to pay for them, but I must admit I paid less, but I did have an open box deal, so things like that can be had. But for the low version, which these are, with only 2 buckles instead of 3, about $250 is what you can expect. I know, Dad, you didn't give me $250. I did subsidize this a bit because this is what I wanted, and I really appreciate you giving me the gift. I love them. I think I made a wise choice. So again, initial review. And hey, if you guys like motorcycling, check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton. It's available on urbanmonktv.com or Amazon. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to learn more in the future about the Forma boot and for all the other motorcycling and motorcycle mechanic content that I put out there. Thanks for watching.